Wow, what a difference a few weeks makes. At the end of last month, we were talking about drought and ongoing dryness when summer hit us head on. We have gotten hot, humid, and rain is a part of our daily conversation. Chris and I will provide some explanation to what has happened in the last few weeks and what we can expect in the near and far future as summer seems to have come very quickly. All this and more in the May edition of the Water Resources Outlook. We will begin, as we usually do, with a look at our departure from normal precipitation for the last 30 days. Georgia through the Carolinas has seen near normal rainfalls with some areas of above normal rainfall in spots, but especially in the mountains. This pattern was beginning to show in our last Water Resources Outlook and is now continuing in May. Below normal rainfall in most of Alabama and much below normal in South Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. It is a tale of two Floridas, though, as Central and South Florida seem to have gotten into their wet season a little earlier than usual. A tropical type low has been hanging around in the Gulf of Mexico and bringing moisture and instability to the southeast, but especially in Florida. Chris will talk in a moment about what we can expect in the coming weeks and whether this pattern will continue. But until then, I'm going to look at our climatology for May and June. Here's the normal rainfall in the southeast for May. This is typically a more quiet time for much of the southeast, kind of in between winter-spring rainfall and summer convection. It can be active with severe weather and some strong thunderstorms, but is not typically noted for excessive flooding or excessive rainfall. The transition to June is stark, though, as you can see from this normal June precipitation graphic. By June, the rainy season has begun, especially in Florida, and coastal areas begin to receive more afternoon-type thunderstorms. The rest of the southeast, at least by the middle of June, begins to see more afternoon pop-up type thunderstorms. In addition, if we have a wet May, then those June thunderstorms tend to be more widespread and produce more rainfall. As Chris talks about our next 2 weeks, keep that information in the back of your mind when I begin to talk about June and the summer forecast. Stream flows across the southeast have normalized a bit. At the end of April, we were trending towards below normal in many areas. We still have some small areas of below normal, South Alabama, North Florida, and South Georgia, but over most of the rest of the southeast, we are near normal, or in numerous cases above normal. The recent rainfall has had a pretty big impact on those stream flows. The drought monitor is a snapshot of where we are as where we are in this past Tuesday, and there is still some drought or some dryness in about 40% of the southeast. Again, Chris will be chatting about our forecasts in a moment, and from the preview that I saw, those could look very different by the time we have our June Water Resources Outlook. So why so much rain? If you've had rain in the past week or so, which most of you should have, I suspect you've noticed that when it has rained, it's likely been very heavy. I'm going to talk about one aspect that has helped contribute to that. Here is the precipitable water graphics for portions of the southeast. The bottom graphic shows that the precipitable water, or PW, is from yesterday evening, May 16th. I've placed stars in the areas I want to highlight: Greensboro, North Carolina, and Roanoke, Virginia. The top two graphics indicate what we can expect as far as that indicator during any time of the year. For Roanoke, for May, the PW is above the daily maximum for this time of year. That PW value is more reminiscent of what we would see in the summer months. The same can be said for Greensboro, even though not quite as high, still very high for this time of year. Let's look at other areas. Atlanta is showing very high PWs, while Birmingham is high, but only at 90% of its moving average for this time of year. Still wet, with plenty of water to produce very efficient rainfall where it does occur. And then there's Florida, showing Tallahassee and Jacksonville to be very high for this time of year, and more normal for what we would expect as we approach the height of tropical season in August. The bottom line, because of all the moisture through the southeast, when it does rain, we will likely see very heavy rainfall with the potential for flash flooding. While this is only a snapshot of where we were last night, this looks like it may continue for some time. I know I went quickly through this. Hit pause and check out the graphics if you'd like, and contact us if you have any questions. Chris is now going to tell us about the next couple weeks of weather.
We're beginning the period with an area of low pressure impacting the area, causing showers and thunderstorms over much of the region. As we get into this weekend, the low will begin to lift northward, taking the bulk of the rain with it. The midterm period is expected to mainly be characterized by daytime thunderstorms, similar to what we expect in June and July. There will still be plenty of moisture in place considering the rainfall we received across the area in the last week. The 7-day forecast reflects rainfall expected in both the short-term and midterm periods, though the bulk of that rain is in the short term. The location of the low favors thunderstorm formation in the Carolinas versus further west. In the long-term period, we're currently expecting above normal precipitation across the area. Models are indicating the potential for an area of low pressure to approach the region during this time frame, though we need to be especially careful of reading into model data this far out. We'll be watching model trends as this period gets closer.
And now looking further ahead, it currently looks like neutral conditions through the rest of the year with a chance of El Niño as we approach the end of the year. As we look at the extended forecast, they have an El Niño slant to them that is a switch from what we have been looking at recently. We continue warm across the southeast with the exception of Florida, which is likely to stay a little cooler than normal simply because of all the rainfall. And here is the June rainfall forecast. Above normal is likely through the southeast. We had previously been looking at near normal rainfall during this time period, but now the Climate Prediction Center is leaning towards wet. And it doesn't stop there. The temperature forecast continues to look above normal, and a huge area showing chances for above normal rainfall over not just the southeast, but over the eastern third of the nation. It looks to be a very active summer based on this forecast. The fall continues our pattern of warm temperatures, but the rainfall forecast backs off some. By the fall, there is no clear indicator for the southeast, and therefore we have equal chances for above, near normal, and below normal precipitation. And so the bottom line, in the short term, summer weather is here, even though it's only May. So expect some more showers and thunderstorms, expect it to be rainy. As for the long term, it looks like a hot, wet summer, and it looks to be very busy. It's likely that outside of these water resources outlooks, you may be hearing our decision support briefings as we deal with flooding, but that's still a long ways out, and we'll just have to see how that goes and how our summer goes. But we will be talking to you again definitely in our next water resources outlook, and we plan to record that on June 21st. Have a great rest of your May.